Hi everyone, and welcome back to Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood. I'm Alexandra El-Amin, your host, and this is the podcast where we talk all things girlhood, okay? We go through your first car, your first job, your first date, your first kiss, your first everything, okay? And I'm so excited to be back. Okay, the last time you guys saw me was my 18th birthday. I had like the turtleneck and bun combo. As you guys can see, my style has changed quite a bit. We'll get into why. And just so much crazy stuff has been going on in my life. It is officially this summer. I'm going to be attending the University of Colorado Boulder in the fall. I graduated high school. I went to prom. I turned 18. I've had so much going on and I can't wait to tell you guys all about it, okay? But I'm also going to be talking to you guys about an experience I recently just went through right before the summer, which is so weird, about dating. I feel like we talk about dating a lot on this show. I feel like dating, especially with like the Ask Alex questions, are like it's the number one topic, but we're teenage girls. So like, what are we going to be talking about? Okay, so before we get into today's episode, make sure to follow my Instagram and my TikTok to stay updated on all things My Guide to Girlhood. The links are in the episode description below. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to see the Alex El-Amin Show, my SportsCenter talk show. And make sure to subscribe to my Substack blog, which I love doing. We just had a blog post come out today and I was so proud of it. So make sure to subscribe to that. I have all my favorite like beauty tips and life updates and mantras and all kinds of really cool stuff that I put on there. And it just gives you guys a better insight into my world. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Okay, so I'm looking at my outline as always. I don't really care. Let me tell you guys about everything that's gone on in my life. We're going to do a life update first. We're going to do like peaks and pits. Okay, so peaks. I turned 18, which was amazing. I had the best birthday party at my house. I went to prom May 23rd. It was absolutely fantastic. I had so much fun at prom. I wore this beautiful like blue dress and I had the prettiest like hair. It was so amazing. Thank you to the Real Pretty Mila for doing my hair. And thank you for giving me my little highlight. I love Mila. I also posted a prom vlog, so make sure to check that out. I graduated high school. I did a graduation vlog, so make sure to check that one out as well. It was such a great like experience and I really want you guys to see it. And I just, I got to do all of my senior activities. I went to prom with my friend Isis, so I went to 2 proms. I went to her prom and I went to my prom. And I just had so much fun. I really did. Graduating was so bittersweet. Like it was so sad to say goodbye to high school and like that chapter of my life, but I had felt like I had moved on before it had happened, if that makes any kind of sense. So I felt like I moved on from high school before I graduated. So it really felt fitting. However, I like do miss it. Like now that it's high school, like now that it's summer, I like kind of miss it a little bit, but whatever. I officially committed to the University of Colorado Boulder on May 1st. I am attending there in the fall and I'm so excited. If anybody from CU or anybody who's going to CU listens to this, please do not hesitate to DM me on Instagram. I'm always looking for new friends. I'm like the friendliest person, so I'm really excited for that. I start college soon, so don't even worry, guys. Barbie Moves to Boulder is going to be a whole series. It's going to be a whole thing. I'm going to be vlogging and writing and just showing you guys the entire process, and I cannot wait to bring the podcast studio to my room in Boulder. I'm actually quite excited. That's going to be a lot of fun. I've made more progress in therapy. We always talk about our emotions on here, right? So I have to be like completely honest with you guys. I think I've done really well at like knocking some of my walls down and becoming more vulnerable and like opening up with people and stuff. And I think I've just been doing really good at that because that was like a struggle I really used to talk about before season 2 ended. Like during season 2, I used to always be like, oh my God, like I can't be vulnerable. I can't open up. Like it's like the weirdest thing. I've been doing good with it. So look at God. And speaking of that, God is good all the time. We're doing good. Me and the man upstairs, we're talking. We're on talking terms again. We're doing good. So that's always a good thing. All right, here are the pits. Here are the things that are not going so well. I'm having a little bit of like family drama, not even a little bit. I'm having like some family drama right now, and it's just like the oddest thing ever. I don't know how to navigate it. I don't really want to like get into detail because I don't want to like put my family's business on blast. But I swear to God, my family we could have been the black like Honey Boo Boo family, and we would have been better because we were trashier. We're like a weird mix of like the Kardashians and Honey Boo Boo's family. Just picture that. Yeah. So I'm having some family drama, but I know God will work that out. What else is happening in my life? Oh, well, the main point of today's episode, I had a little failed, like I don't want to say talking stage, I'll say moment with someone, because I hate to say talking, like I hate to say that, I literally hate to say that, but it did happen, so I do want to talk about it, although I don't want to get into detail. Like that's one thing I always do, like my friends used to always tease me about like the podcast because they'd be like, whenever like something doesn't work out for you, you go and you talk about it on your podcast or whatever. And I don't ever want it to like, I don't ever want the podcast to feel like, oh, this is a space where I get to like talk about people or talk about my problems and be like narcissistic basically. So no, that's not what's going to happen today. I'm just telling you guys the lesson I learned from it. We're not even going to get into detail. We're not even going to get into what happened. Mostly because I'm very sure that he watches these because he watches all of my stuff, and not like in a fan way, like in a sweet way. But I feel like he still does, even though we didn't work out. So I like I don't want him to text me. Did you talk about me on your podcast? I'm like, oh no, like I did. Okay, this is one thing I learned. Okay, in the past, I'd say 2 months. Okay, my life has changed significantly since starting this podcast. As you all know, like I started this podcast in my bed. I was so bored. I started this over like about a year ago, a year and a half ago now, and I was completely bored and I just had like nothing to do. And then I started this podcast and things just took off so quickly, and then I started sports journalism, and now like I was getting, I don't know, just like a little bit of clout. Like whenever I go to games and stuff, people know who I am and like want photos and stuff, and I'm like, okay, or whatever. Like I don't let it get in my head at all. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. But yeah, so I have like a little clout around town, a little something to my name, just a little something. But it's really not that big of a deal. The reason I bring this up though is I found that it's made me, not my like life, but my dating life specifically, a little harder. It is not even a little, it's made it significantly harder. Yeah, it's made it really hard because I don't like guys like who like captivate all the attention and all the fame, because I used to date somebody like that. Like my first boyfriend and like my only boyfriend and like the only person I ever was really, really, really into when I was like younger, he was so like out there. Everybody knew who he was all around the country. It was like a big thing, right? And I just hated it. I hated dating somebody in the public eye. I hated being like the secret girlfriend. I just hated that point in my life. It was horrible. No offense to him, because he's like a great guy now. Like we worked out our problems, but it just wasn't fun at the time. And it didn't really always have something to do with him, because some of that stuff he couldn't control, but it's a lot to date somebody in the spotlight. So I like to date people, or at least try to, or like talk to people who are more like on the low key side of life, because I feel like it balances me out and keeps me humble. But I've found an issue with that. Okay. And the issue that I've found is that those kind of people, I mean, those kind of guys, have seen me as more of a trophy or like something to possess than somebody to like nurture and like care for. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more of a flex to say like, oh, I'm going out with her, whatever, the girl who gets all these interviews, the girl who does this podcast, the girl who makes all these reels or whatever. Even though that's not even like, that's how you know we're in high school, because that's literally not a big deal at all. But it is now, like at this age when you're starting and you're doing so well and like people know who you are, and like, you know, people get geeked when they meet you and stuff like that. So I get it. Like I get it a little bit. Like it's whatever. But I found that has been a problem for me. And I've been having some issues coping with that, because it's like, I don't understand how somebody can pretend that they care about you as a person, but originally, like essentially, they just really care about having you as a trophy. Actually, I was sending a voice message to my best friend in the entire world, and I sent her this voice message. I'll literally show you guys our text. It's crazy because I would never do that. I just remember she said this. She said, "That's so real. Like you want to show me off and have me to yourself, but won't do what you need to do to keep me." I'm going to text her and say, "Just quoted." Let me reply to the message. I'm going to be like, "Just quoted this on the pod. Make sure to listen today." Little self promo. But it's so true. Like, yeah, you get like attention and like just really cool stuff by being around me, but you don't want to do what it actually, like you don't want to do the things that you actually have to do to keep me. And that's so hurtful. Like it's so hurtful, because you can do it. Like you could do it. Like if you wanted to, you would. I'm a strong believer in if you wanted to, you would. Because when a guy likes you, you know. When you don't, you're confused. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. This particular situation that I'm referring to, I was confused all the time. Like in the beginning, I knew very much, but you know what they say, guys only act right for like 3 weeks and then you become confused. And I was very confused. So it was like, okay, so he just doesn't like me anymore. That's okay. You don't have to, but I'd rather you tell me than like, you know what I mean? Like waste my time. And it's sad. It's really sad when someone sees you as like a possession and like not a person. But there are a few ways to tell. for any other people who may be listening and want to know like how you're able to tell. This is how I've been able to tell so far. Okay. One, if when you first start talking to a guy and he says something around the lines of like, oh, I like your, like, I've watched all your videos. That's so obvious. I have no idea how I didn't catch on to that, but like I heard that a couple of times. But I heard it from this particular guy, like, oh, I've seen your videos before. Oh, I really like your stuff. Or I really like the videos you make. Or I've seen a lot of your videos or whatever. Yeah, it's a red flag. Not saying that that's like necessarily the biggest red flag, because literally anybody can say that to you. A guy who really cherishes you might say that to you, be like, oh, like, don't I know you from somewhere? Like, don't I see your stuff? So that's not the biggest red flag, but it's like it's a little one. Usually guys think like the limelight is pretty cringy, so they'll respect it to an extent, but they won't be into it. So if they're like into it, you're like a possession to them. You're an Amber Rose. Like, he's kind of your Amber Rose. He really just wants you for the image, baby. He does not care about you. I wish somebody had told me that. How else do you know? If they always, like, when you post something, they always text you privately and want to know, like, and want to comment about it and be like, oh my god, I really liked your video, or I really liked your stuff. Yeah, you groupie whore. Like, of course you did. Okay, here's some other things. They, like, name drop you in conversations, but they, like, never ask real questions about you. Like, they can be like, oh, I, like, know her or whatever, but they, like, know nothing about you. They'll just say they've met you before. That's a red flag. They post you too early or never at all. One of the two. Like, girl, he does not care. Sorry, try not to curse. They treat your achievements like accessories. Like, they like what you do, but they don't really celebrate like how hard you worked or like help you with anything. They're just like, oh. And if you feel more admired than appreciated or loved, like if you can just see that they like me for this, but if all this stuff went away, like would you really care about me still? So that's been a sad story. It was a sad realization that I had to realize, but that's okay. I've also realized that it's not always about closure. Sometimes it's about reclaiming your own narrative, because guys, I was pretty sad about this whole situation. I was like sitting in my room crying. I was like watching like The Girls Next Door and like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and just like something to distract me. And I was just like scrolling on my phone all day. Me, who doesn't do anything but work, scrolling on her phone all day because I was just so sad. And I just wanted some kind of like answers. I was like, I want to know what happened. I want to know what changed. Like, I really just need closure from the situation. But you don't really need closure. You don't really need closure. The end of things, that's your closure. The way they left you on red, like, that's your closure. The way they acted towards you towards the end, like, that's your closure. The way they never took you seriously, the way they never respected you, that's your closure. Like, you don't need some kind of superficial movie moment where they tell you the truth and then apologize and like run after you and get hit by a bus. You don't need that, okay? Even though it's nice sometimes, but you don't need it. I promise you will be okay with that. The fairy tale ending of closure, because you are, okay? Now, I not only have to rebuild my personal life, but I also have not rebuild, but continue to work with my career, because my career is never ending. I never, ever sit down. I've spent this entire day working, just filming and doing blog posts and doing reels and stuff. And it's been great. I really, really love my job. I really, really do. But I also have to rebuild my personal life behind the scenes. And that's also such a hard balance, which is why I'm so glad I have this podcast, because I feel like you guys are the balance between El-Amin and Chicago Barbie. You guys are like the perfect. I've had to learn a lot of things, like dealing with this emotional moment and this sadness while still like people expecting you to post and people asking things from you and people wanting you to like come and do events for them or MC and do things. You know, you can't sit around and be sad because you have so much to do. You have people who are relying on you. You have people who want to see you. You have people you don't want to disappoint. And you're like, well, it's hard for me to show up for everybody because I'm barely showing up like in my life right now. Like I'm sad right now. It's something stupid that I'm sad about, but I'm sad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really sad. So it's hard for me to get up and put forth my best foot and all of my energy and everything into a project or a podcast or a blog or, you know, whatever I'm going to be doing that day. Or I have just like so many, like I got literally the week that this thing happened with this guy and things ended for good. Literally when that happened, I got approached about like 6 new business opportunities that are so great for my career. So great for my career. Like stuff that I've been waiting and crying and begging and praying for. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't even enjoy that because I'm still dealing with like the stress and the sadness and just like the disappointment of what happened, right? But I've learned, you know, I am not going to sit on an answered prayer and not thank God for it and not be grateful for this opportunity. God has blessed me infinitely, and I need to, take my blessings and praise Him for them and just like not sit around and be sad all day. I'm also like going to be vulnerable online. This was my first step versus being like performative. Like I want to be vulnerable and say, like, hey, this thing did hurt my feelings. Yeah, it is hard for me to date because I would have like a newfound like life or lifestyle, but I'm going to be okay. Like I don't want to ever seem like performative or sad or anything. Like I'm going to be okay. I just wanted to be vulnerable. I also wanted to talk about how hard it is when people follow you for like the aesthetic, for like not the depth of you, and they just like only really care about your looks and not really care about anything else. That's always a bummer. But I've learned to just take care of myself during this time and just like unplug, even though this is my job to like literally be on social media and stuff. Just unplug, take time to journal, pray, go to therapy, meditate, take a walk outside, watch my favorite TV show, which is right now The Girls Next Door, a highly underrated reality show, and just unplug and enjoy my life despite all of the chaos and craziness, because it looks like you guys are going to be seeing a lot more El-Amin. And this moment, even though it's sad, it's more about like deeper boundaries. It's the end of my self-sabotaging era. It's the end of my people-pleasing era. This is like the start of my boundaries and saying no and not taking anybody's step moving forward, whether I appreciate you deeply or not. So let's get into our third segment, which is what is going on right now, like the girlhood grind right now. So I launched Gloss and Game. It's a new series on my TikTok and Instagram, basically where I do my makeup while telling you guys everything you need to know about sports. Today we covered the Lonzo Ball trade for Isaac Octoro on the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's hard to say his last name for some reason. Covered you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of me, because not only am I going to be continuing to do this podcast and the El-Amin show, I have some other really cool projects coming up, and I'm vlogging a lot. I vlogged my luncheon, my prom, and my graduation, so that you guys can, see my life, especially as I'm about to move to Boulder and move and become the Boulder Barbie. I'm prepping to move to Boulder. I'm nervous but excited. Like I have to get my driver's license. I have to pack up my room. I just have like so much to do. It is absolutely insane. I also got new hair, same heart, same girl, just new hair. This is the power of reinvention for the people on video podcasts. I got like a few highlights. Nothing crazy. I just really wanted to take things out of my hair because I'm a woman and that's what we do. And I just want to encourage all of the girls who are going through it quietly right now. The girls who are upset about a guy like me, or upset about family or their past or anything like that. I just want to let you know that God sees your pain. I see your pain. Your pain is valid. You're so loved and you're so strong for continuing to get up and move on the hardest days. That takes incredible strength, and you are such a strong and beautiful woman, and you're a survivor, and you're going to get through this. God's going to get you through it. He got you through every storm before this. He's going to get you through this storm and every storm after this. Okay? That's the real tea. I want to do our Ask Alex, so let me scroll and get my questions, and I'm really, really excited. But I also want to tell you guys, before we get into Ask Alex, here's my rule of thumb, okay? Alex's rule of thumb. If someone wouldn't date you when the cameras are off and the Wi-Fi is down, they don't deserve to be in your frame at all. Keep that in your back pocket. All right. So I only picked 5 today. We got like over 30 because I haven't done the podcast in so long, but I only picked 5 because I don't want our first episode to be like super long. I just don't feel like sitting down and talking to you guys for an hour and a half like I have in the past. I just don't have that in me today, but I'm happy to be back. I really am. Okay, our first question. Hi, Alex. Love the podcast. How do you deal with guys who only want the version of you that looks good on Instagram? You leave them. You literally leave them, because those guys will have you spiraling. They will make you freaking Carrie Bradshaw, and you never want to give Carrie Bradshaw ever. You leave them. You will find somebody who's not even your husband, first of all, is not on Instagram. You will find somebody who's not on the internet and somebody who cherishes you in real life, and that's when you'll be fine. 2. Hey, Alex, what's been the hardest part about staying soft while moving through heartbreak? I mean, just showing up to like work and showing up for people and doing stuff with people. It's been hard to show up and like have conversations with my friends. Like the other day, like my friend and I went to like a thrift thing, and it was hard for me to be present and be with my friends and feel better because I was still so sad about what had happened. So yeah, I guess just like moving on with your life when you feel so stuck or like so sad or like, you know, like grieving a little bit. That's been the hardest part for me. Thanks for asking. Hi Alex, how do you stay consistent when your confidence feels inconsistent? My really good friend Jacob told me discipline over motivation. Because motivation is temporary, discipline is forever. Keep your discipline, build up your discipline skills. Your motivation is going to come here and there. It's going to be like a bus, comes every 5 minutes, right? You just have to have the discipline to know that sometimes when your motivation lacks, you have to still get stuff done. It's the way life goes. Hey Alex, what advice would you give a girl who feels like she's too much or not enough at the same time? Wow, the advice I would give myself. I would say that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are blessed and highly favored, and you are not too much or not enough. You are just right, like Goldilocks would say. And you're perfect and beautiful and wonderful in God's eyes. And don't let any human being, especially yourself and your own brain, trick you into thinking that you are not, because you are absolutely beautiful and God made you out when he was making the moon and the sky and the stars, and he knew what you were going to be like, and he knew your personality traits, and he loves you, and he still got on a cross and died for you. Jesus still got on that cross and died for you. So nothing to really be insecure about, huh? When somebody literally lays their life down for you. Last question. Hi, Alex. How do you keep building your brand while healing behind the scenes? That's a really good question. Just having the discipline, like I said, having the discipline to continue going on despite, you know, my lack of motivation, despite some of my sadness, despite the way I've been feeling, just having the discipline to continue going on. Just being like, you know what, I still need to get this stuff done because I'm not going to be sad about this guy forever, but I am going to want to pursue, like in 5 years, I'll forget about this guy, but in 5 years, I'll still want to be a sports journalist. So really need to discipline and sit myself down and write my blog posts and do my podcast despite the way, you know what I mean, like how I've been feeling. Thank you guys so much. Our Ask Alex link is in the episode description below. Feel free to leave your questions there for a chance to be featured in next week's episode of Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood. I love doing this segment. All right, so let's head into our closing segment. This is my Barbie thought of the week. You can't lose what was never yours, but you can reclaim who you are. My Barbie thoughts of the week I have been extremely philosophical lately, but it's true. It's so true. You really cannot lose what was never yours, but you can reclaim who you are because you are yours. You are your own property. You can claim you and do whatever you want with yourself. It's your choice, but I suggest you treat yourself, you know, the way you wish other people would treat you. So that way, when people lack to treat you the way that you know you deserve to be treated, you don't even care about their absence once you leave them or they leave you because you already treat yourself so well you don't really need them around. Then this is my beauty tip of the week. Overline your lips like a little, especially on your Cupid's bow. Add a clear gloss and like don't answer that guy's text. Leave him alone. And then here are the things I'm loving right now. The Girls Next Door product, the K18 hair mask, Post Salon K18. Absolutely love you guys. Quote, you don't need access, you need audacity. And then on my radar, I am coming out with a coffee table book, which I'm so super excited for. Thinking about doing Literally My Life live. Like if I had I'm going to leave that as the Spotify poll. If I had a live podcast in the Chicagoland area, would you guys come? I would have more energy than I do right now, I promise. I'm super interactive, like I'm good with people. And practicing letting go without closure, that's on my radar. All right, so if this episode touched you, send it to a friend who needs to remember who she is. Rate, review, and subscribe, and follow me at El-Amin Alexandra 13 and Literally My Life MGTG podcast on Instagram and TikTok. New gloss and game video is live up on TikTok plus IG Reels. Go see my sports talk show on YouTube as well with lip liner on because I'm that girl. I got that glam in that game, period. Okay. I absolutely love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in for yet another episode of Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood. Cannot wait to see you guys next week. Mwah.